Hello everyone, Tina here. I'm back again with a sweet card project for you. We're doing this card project in 5 steps, 5 easy steps, and we're using some items that are brand new, part of the Simon Says Stamp To Be Loved release. It's super fun. I'm going to be using the Sweet Treats stamp set. It's a large 6x8 stamp set, lots of treats. The nice thing about this set is there's a coordinating stencil that will color in each of these. I thought we'd make some little chocolates or little truffle candies today and color them in quick and easy using the coordinating stencil. I love how fast and easy coloring in stamped images is with stencils. So we're going to be using the coordinating Sweet Treat stencil set. For my background, we're going to be using a stencil called Funky Hearts. And we're going to jump in and get started. First off, we're going to create our focal point, which will be our truffle or our candies. So let's take these out. We're going to do some stamping on some white cardstock. Let's go ahead and take this. I'm going to bring in my stamping positioner. We're going to stamp 2 truffles. I'm going to use my Memento ink because it's quick drying. We'll go ahead and stamp this once. And then I'll just take my panel. We'll flip it over and I'll stamp it one more time. And there we have it. Now we're going to use the Sweet Treat stencil. We're going to find those truffles here. And it's nice because they're all sectioned off. It's hard to see on camera, but it'll say truffle, it'll say lollipop, it'll say candy, and it's sectioned off with etching. So that makes it really convenient and really easy. Okay, first we'll just line this up. Give that a press. For this truffle, I'm going to use my Pink Fresh Studio Espresso ink, and then I have some of my Waffle Flower shaders. We're going to use this. And you know, before I shade this in really quickly, I'm going to use a marker. This is my E79, and we're going to add some darker areas. So I just went over these little pieces. I'm going to do the same exact thing with this one in a minute. But we're going to add some brown ink here. Just go over these. And bring in gathered twigs next. And I'm going to add some darker areas. Just kind of highlighting my truffle base. Okay, and that's this truffle. That's all we're going to do with this truffle base. Okay, I'm going to wipe this stencil off. And then I'm going to actually just turn this around. For this truffle, we're going to do the same thing, but instead of brown, I'm going to do this with red. So we're going to bring in another dark red marker. This is RV69. Okay, that's all good to go. And for this one, we're going to bring in my Pink Fresh Studio Candy Apple ink. I'm going to use my red blending brush here. Layer number 1. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove my stencil next. And then we're going to add the truffle portion. For this truffle, I'm going to use a light pink ink. This is Pink Fresh Studio's Cherry Blossom. I'm going to pick up some color here. Oops, I shifted a little bit. And then we're going to go over this with our pink. Okay, I'm going to wipe this off, and then we're going to flip it around. And then for this truffle, we're going to go really bold and do a nice fuchsia. This is Raspberry Bliss. I'm going to pick up some color here. We're going to add some nice raspberry color here. Okay, now we have the top layer. Oops, I got a little color. I went a little happy over here with the color, but that's okay. Okay, now I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to use my little swirly. We'll line this up. Lines up really easy. And then I'm going to use my Gathered Twigs ink and go over this. We're going to make a chocolate drizzle for this one. Lovely. And then I'm not going to do anything with this one because I'm going to go over this with some Nouveau vintage drops. And those are our truffles. Now I'm going to use my scissors and cut these out. And that is all we're doing to these two truffles. I am going to bring in my white gel pen. And I'm going to go over the drizzle here with my white gel pen. Okay, now I just went over it lightly. We're going to actually, again, use those Nouveau drops when we embellish our card. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out with my scissors. Now after we have this done, I'm going to bring in some foam squares. We're going to actually do some layering. So I want to add one here at the bottom, and I'm going to layer this one right on top, kind of crisscrossing them like this. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to double up on the foam square here, and then we'll add one more here. Okay, before we set this aside, I'm going to bring in those Nouveau vintage drops, and I'm going to add some of this icing with my Nouveau drops. And then I'm going to bring in my Spellbinders glaze and glue, and I'm going to go over the chocolate on here. And then I have some Coarse sparkling sugar. These are available. I picked this up at Simon, and this is going to be perfect to add to our little chocolates. Let's put them here. We're going to add some sugar right over the top. But I love that little coarse candy on there. Or coarse sugar, I should say. Okay, we're going to put this to the side, and now we're going to work on number 2, our home panel. For my home panel, we're going to create some oval background. We're just going to layer a piece of vellum behind the largest. So I'll cut out my largest oval with vellum, and then the second largest oval with white cardstock. It's going to be a great home for our truffles. These dies are from Simon. They're the stitched ovals, and I'll link them down below. Run these through my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. Once we have these die cut, I am going to bring in my tape runner. We're going to add some adhesive behind here, and I'm going to layer it together over on my vellum. Give that a good press. Okay, I'll flip this over. I'm going to bring in some foam tape, and we'll put it behind here. Now this is going to be a great home for our truffles. So I did put foam tape behind here. I'm just going to remove the release paper. We're going to add our truffles, like so. Okay. We have plenty of room down here for our sentiment. And that brings us to number 3, our sentiment and our greeting. We're going to stamp Love You, that's in our stamp set. And I'm going to stamp it with my red ink. This is, well, maybe we should go Raspberry Bliss. I'm using my Raspberry Bliss ink, and we're going to stamp a pink Love You. I think we may add a gradient to this also. I'm going to stamp it one more time here. I'm going to bring in my candy apple ink, and I'm going to go over the bottom of my greeting we'll stamp a little bit of red on the bottom. You may not be able to see it. We'll stamp it a couple times. Wonderful. Next we're going to stamp More Than Chocolate, and I'm going to use, and that is our greeting. I'm going to block off my More Than Chocolate, and I'm going to fussy cut around my Love You. I fussy cut out my Love You, and then I had a banner die that I used to cut out my More Than Chocolate. I also used that same banner die and cut out a another banner the same size with brown cardstock. We're going to do a little layering with our greeting, so I'm just going to add a thin line of glue, and we're going to layer More Than Chocolate right over the top here. Just kind of creating a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to flip both of these over. We're going to add some foam tape behind here, and then we're going to tack them down on our home panel with our focal point. And our greeting stem. Now, number 4, we're going to work on our background. We're going to be doing some stenciling on some pink cardstock. This is an A2 panel, and we're going to create our background with the Funky Hearts layering stencil set. There's actually 4 stencils in here, and I'm going to use the wonky checkerboard. Use my red blending brush, and I'm going to color in our background here. We're just going to wipe off our stencil, and then we're going to add the second checkerboard piece. We will tack this down, and now for this one, I'm not sure if I want to use the darker pink or the brown. I think we're going to use the darker pink. So this is our Raspberry Bliss. And we're going to add some color here. Kind of going to go a little heavy so it shows up on this background. And then I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And look at that fun background. How cool is that? Okay, I'm going to take this panel and put it on the front of my card base. Okay, and then we're going to take our home panel with our focal point and our greeting, and I'm going to remove the release paper off of the back, and we're going to put this right in the middle of our background. And now all we have left to do is step number 5, which is embellishment. Even though we have a little bit of embellishment with the vintage drops and then that coarse sugar from Trinity stamps, I'm also going to add some sequins. These sequins are from Spellbinders. They're the pink opalescent. We're going to add a little bit of shine, kind of filling in some areas. We're just going to add a little bit of glue. Lovely. We're going to just funnel these back, and that will finish off my 5-step card today. Today we used a few new items from Simon Says Stamp. It's part of the To Be Loved release. Super fun release. Hope you enjoyed my project. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.